Happy Friday, everybody! It is time once again for Friday Reads, where I let you know what I'm currently reading and what I hope to pick up over the weekend. It's been a short week, but a very busy one. We had a holiday on Monday, and it's Friday now, and I'm like, where did time go? And I have so many other things I need to get done. And so this weekend might be more getting adult grown-up things done rather than my superfluous fun activities that I want to do. We will see though. Anyway, what I'm currently reading, inspired by Paul's project to read 200 short stories in the remainder of the year, I think, I am getting back into reading short fiction. He's been doing daily videos where he talks about the short stories and the books and comics he's been reading, so I've been popping in there and chiming in with him on some of that stuff, if you want to go check that out. I've had a real dry spell of reading short fiction for the majority of this year. It really has been the majority of the year. And I need to get back into reading, especially the 2017 issues that I have piled up on my Kindle, because I want to be able to nominate in the next award season, you know. So over the past week and weekend, I've read some things. I'm almost caught up with Uncanny. I'm almost done with Uncanny issue 18. I have like 2 more stories to read from that, so I will definitely finish it this Friday, probably this evening. I'm also working on Lightspeed and Clarkesworld. I have an older issue of Clarkesworld that's been on my currently reading shelf on Goodreads for months at this point, which is issue 122. I'm going to finish that off. Then I'm going to start working backwards from the most recent issues, just because it's easier for me to remember. And same thing with Lightspeed. I read 88, which is the September issue, and I'm going to read 86 and 87 over the weekend if I have time. That's enough planning for right now, because there's so much I have to read, but hopefully I'll put a dent in it in September. So if you're reading any of them and you want to talk about them, let me know. I will definitely have a big short fiction wrap up for the end of the month. And aside from short fiction, things I've been reading, I am still reading Homo Deus, which is a very shiny cover, by Yuval Noah Harari. This is a nonfiction book about what humanity will be like in the next stage of our existence when we go from being Homo sapiens to perhaps a new species called Homo Deus. How are we changing ourselves and our environment, and what will we value and prioritize differently in the future? So I'm only about a quarter of the way through it, and I'm enjoying it. I'm surprised at how much of the supporting evidence I'm already familiar with. It's really the argument that Harari is building from this information that I'm reading for, and that's very interesting so far. Another nonfiction book that I've started reading is a very new one, The Planet Factory by Elizabeth Tasker. This is a book about how planets form in general, and then about how we are searching for exoplanets. I think it just came out yesterday on the 7th. I got this from NetGalley, and I will be reviewing it very soon. I read a book about finding exoplanets earlier in the year, and it was a little bit disappointing, so I'm hoping that this is much more of what I want in terms of explaining the technical process and the science behind all of this. The previous book I read was really just like case studies of some really famous exoplanets we found, and that wasn't enough for me. But anyway, it's pretty interesting so far. Fiction-wise, the only thing I'm in the middle of right at this second is The 5 Daughters of the Moon by Leena Litikalo. Or is it Lena? My Finnish-speaking friends, you must correct me on this one. I cannot figure out how to pronounce her first name. I would say Lena, but it might be Lena with like a long E sound. This is the first in a novella duology. I think it came out in May, and the second one is coming out in November, and I have e-arcs from Tor.com, so I'm going to read them back to back and then talk about them. I think this is inspired by turn-of-the-century Russia, like Tsar Nicholas II and his family. There's a character who I've pretty much pegged as Rasputin, so it'll be interesting. As for other things that I might pick up over the weekend, I'm going to leave my options very, very open. I don't know what I'm gonna feel in the mood for. So let me know what you're reading this Friday, what are your plans for this weekend, and I'll be back to talk to you again about many things on Sunday with my weekly wrap-up. And until then, bye.